Dad, big news out of Porsche, and I'm not talking about the fact that they had an incredibly successful IPO. There is a $300 million lawsuit coming out of South Florida, a dealer group, alleging that Porsche is withholding inventory from them and breaking state franchise dealer laws. I think, and we'll touch on this a little bit in a moment as well, New Zealand, Australia, there's also lawsuits there against OEMs and breaking dealer laws. I think the first of many lawsuits that we're going to see as Porsche and other automakers move towards an evolution within the auto industry and the direct-to-consumer model.
Well, but this has nothing to do with the with the direct-to-consumer model. This has everything to do with the corporate image, mandated facility upgrades that manufacturers call for all the time. And Porsche, and don't forget, Porsche is normally housed with Audi. So
here, let's give the lay of the land to everyone that's watching that. The collection, they're down in Coral Gables, Florida.
Yes.
They have a multi-brand storefront.
Yes.
And as you were about to say, Porsche and Audi typically together, but Porsche took away their pool cars, which is about 20% of their allocation. So the collection is suing them for $300 million because they broke they're alleging they broke the state's franchise dealer laws.
And Porsche is alleging that part of their franchise agreement calls for a standalone Porsche store.
Facility design standards, as they call it.
Yes. So, and many manufacturers have those same requirements that it has to have a certain look, it has to have a certain feel, has to have certain furnishings and fixtures, and they want a standalone Porsche store. It's not uncommon. What's uncommon is that they're fighting about it, and that they couldn't come to some type of agreement without the dealer suing them for $300 million. Now, if they win, are they going to get anywhere near $300 million? I doubt it.
Thinking about getting auto insurance? Compare quotes from all the major carriers in one place. Join YAA.com/insurance. It's quick, easy, and no spam.
You know, if I don't know what their inventory situation is, what their allocations normally are.
Well, here, Dad, it even says in the article, since Porsche began withholding pool allocations, the collection has fallen precipitously in national sales ranking from 3rd in 2018 to 32nd as of June, the suit notes. By the end of 2026, the dealership projects its annual allocation of new Porsche inventory to decrease to a mere 352 vehicles. When a manufacturer raises the sales targets and under allocates vehicles to a dealer, the suit notes, quote, it puts the dealer into ... a death spiral, an impossible cycle of increasing demands with fewer resources to meet those demands until the dealer's franchise collapses. Porsche's Lawrence argued, the lawyer, that the collection's declining market share is partly due to the brand's retail network expansion. U.S. rooftops have increased to 195 from 191 in 2019.
If they're allocated approximately 30 Porsches a month.
Yeah.
Okay. And 20% more would be 36.
Yep.
You can't convince me that those 72 cars annually are worth anywhere near $300 million.
It is interesting.
Just not.
The case, Dad, as it's been established by Sean Burston, the attorney representing them, says that franchise laws in Florida prohibit an automaker from requiring a dealer to establish exclusive facilities.
Unless it was in their franchise agreement.
But this is what becomes interesting, Dad, right? And this is why I also do parlay it into the conversation around direct-to-consumer. Because, again, internationally, there are currently lawsuits in countries where there's more of an agency model.
Yes.
The reason I say that this brings that up is because we are going to see, I think, an evolution of these franchise dealer laws shaped by cases like these that may start out with, hey, you need to build a standalone, or you need to, abide by certain aspects of design standards. But this is going to, I think, slowly but surely show the OEM, show Porsche is trying to have more control over that experience with the customer and build more friction into the dealer OEM model, which you can speak to. I mean, you didn't love working with your factory rep.
There's always friction between the dealer and the manufacturer.
I don't think most people know that.
the dealer's goal is different than the manufacturer's goal. So I can't tell you how many times I hated to see my factory rep walk in because I just knew it was going to be a miserable afternoon. The things that they track that they think are important aren't necessarily the things that the dealership tracks that it thinks are important. And I remember when I was with Acura, and I had a conversation with the general manager of our store where I could sense and I could track the numbers that sales were slowing down, inventory was building up, and it was time to try and relieve ourselves of some of the inventory. And I had found a dealer that was willing to purchase, I think it was 3 truckloads of cars. It was like 27 cars or something like that. And my GM and area vice president said, well, check with the zone and see what they think. Well,
the zone manager being the rep.
Yeah, it was like, what are you thinking? You can't sell. You figure out how to retail these cars. And my response to them and to my general managers, at the end of the year, when we end up in the red, okay, they're not going to stroke us a check to make us whole.
Them being the OEM.
Yeah, they don't care. Okay. All they cared about was wholesaling cars to us. Whether or not we needed those cars was unimportant to them. What was important to them was they wanted them off of their books and on somebody else's books.
Point being, Dad, there's always been a tenuous relationship between dealers and automakers. And I think we are starting to see the bubbling up of more lawsuits like this. I know it's starting with just design standards and things like that. But this is, it's front page news on automotive news for a reason, Dad.
Yeah. The reason is that the dealer's suing for $300 million instead of $3 million. Okay, it's almost as if that they put balloons on a board and they said to the dealer principal, take a dart and throw a dart and let's see what number pops out of those balloons.
We have two really, really, really. I'm going to say the collection is a wealthy corporation. They're a large car dealer, sell luxury cars in South Florida. They got 350,000 square feet of space. They're big.
I'm not saying they're not big.
We got a group with a bunch of money, and then we got Porsche owned by VW with a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know who's going to win out of this?
Nobody.
The lawyers.
The lawyers are going to win.
But I bet you we're going to see more of this.
But you're conflating the...
I don't know if I'm conflating. I recognize that they're different, but I see how they, on a principle level, they actually they apply to the same thing. Like on a principle level, you're going to see more and more animosity and fights between dealers and OEMs. I think this is kind of like the easiest place to start.
Yeah, but it's not based on how OEMs are trying to change the retail model of how cars are sold. This is based on the facility upgrades and designs. That's all. And so that's why I think we're conflating things here. That's not to say that I don't think these type of things will continue to rear their ugly head. I think they will. And I think there'll be other avenues that both manufacturers and dealers travel down because they're at a disparity as to how they think things should be. So there could be future lawsuits over other matters as well. So I'll agree with that part of it, but I don't think you can conflate this to, what the dealers or the manufacturers are trying to do at the moment.